on WKRG News 5.
Breaking news in Mobile tonight. Police have found human remains behind a hospital and shopping center.
A community alert tonight. Police say you need to be careful when you're at Mobile's most visited park after what a woman saw this morning.
Plus, thieves lead police to a buried safe. What was inside it when the thieves stole it?
And just a day away from Donald Trump's inauguration, how Washington, D.C. is getting ready for the festivities.
From WKRG News 5, the Gulf Coast news leader, the news starts now.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Peter Albrecht.
And I'm Devin Walsh. We're glad you're with us tonight. First on 5, we've got some strong storms that are moving into our area.
Let's check in with Alan Seals.
All of a sudden, we're not talking about fog. We're talking about thunderstorms that could be strong. And notice it's in a line from north to south moving eastward. That means everybody at some point this evening is going to get lightning, thunder, and downpours. Now, they're generally moving toward the northeast at 30 to 40 miles an hour. So Cyrene, in about 6 minutes, you'll get your thunderstorms. Chance, you've got about 25 minutes before most of it gets there, even though you've already got a little band ahead of it. Now, keep in mind, even though you're looking at the main band of thunderstorms in Washington County and North Mobile County, isolated storms could pop up ahead of that. Before you see that, though, in Vaughan, the next 10 to 12 minutes, you're on the list, followed by Rockville in about 20 minutes. And in Mobile County, it's mostly right now moderate rain. The thunderstorms are still in George County and Jackson County, moving toward the east. Hollinger's Island 10 minutes away, and DePorres Hospital about 15 minutes. So notice skies are getting darker. Most of you this rush hour is okay, but watch what happens between now, 7 this evening, 9 o'clock, it steadily moves out. I'll detail that in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks very much, Alan. We have some breaking news tonight at 5 o'clock. Mobile police have just discovered human remains near a hospital and shopping center. News 5's Ashley Knight joins us live now south of Spring Hill Memorial Hospital with the latest. Ashley?
That's right, Peter. We're here. Let me explain to you where we are. We're just off of the I-65 service road that runs between Airport and Dauphin. We're in a cul-de-sac that kind of runs up behind Babies R Us. And as you can see, the land back here is in the process of being cleared. Now take a look at some of the video we shot just moments ago. As you can see, the land is in the process of being cleared right now, and crews obviously came upon something while they were clearing it. We saw what looked like a skull and some other bones that they have produced from this excavation. Now, we were surprised to see a camera crew with this police department filming the excavation. We know that the TV show First 48 was here recently filming with MPD, but we're not sure if this film crew is technically with them. Now, this film crew also had a microphone on one of the inspectors, so they're obviously wanting to document whatever it is that's going on here. Now, you can see officers in this video sifting through the soil, combing through each bucket full of dirt they're bringing up from this excavation, and really, that's all the information we have right now. We talked to a local business nearby who said that crews have been out here since about 10 o'clock this morning. Now, it seems that we have more questions than answers right now, so we're working hard to get those answers for you. We'll pass along those answers as soon as we get them. For now, live in Mobile, Ashley Knight, News 5.
All right, thank you, Ashley. Some scary moments for a woman walking in Municipal Park this morning. She encountered a man performing a lewd act while she walked by. Rhonda Cooley called police and filed a report. It happened between 7 and 8 o'clock this morning. She was walking by a bench where a tall, slender black man was sitting. When she looked up at him, he was exposed. She ran away. Another woman told her she had seen the same man sitting in a silver Ford Escape doing the same thing. Cooley used to feel safe, but now all that has changed.
It made me feel just really scared. I felt like Municipal Park would be a safe place to come to and exercise in the morning time, and that I wouldn't have any problems. But it's made me not even want to come back out here, unfortunately.
The man was gone when officers arrived and is still on the loose. Police say they will step up patrols.
Two brothers are facing charges tonight after leading deputies to a 600-pound safe they stole and then buried. News 5's Haley Minogue joins us now from the sheriff's office in Shalimar to tell us what stolen items were at one time in that safe. Haley?
Pete, a total of about $50,000 worth of guns, jewelry, precious metals, and fishing equipment were in the 600-pound safe at the time it was stolen. $25,000 worth of that alone was the guns. Now, investigators were suspecting that the brothers Joshua and Brandon Zick were behind this, and when they showed up at their home, Joshua Zick was in the process of loading some of the 53 firearms into his truck. He confessed to the burglary and led the deputies to the rest of the guns, and also he led them to Anderson Columbia Construction Firm, which was his place of employment. That's where deputies recovered the buried safe. Joshua and his brother took the safe there, used crowbars and a chop saw to open the safe, then used a tractor to completely bury it, which concerns the county undersheriff.
When you see someone go to that much pre-planning, it's concerning. Those folks tend to have a tendency to repeat offenders, to be repeat offenders. So we give it a higher priority for that reason as well. And it's not every day you find a 600-pound safe buried. It takes quite a bit of planning just to get the equipment to do something like that.
Undersheriff Hacker said he was extremely proud of the investigative unit here at the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Department for the gun recovery, especially all of the jewels, medals, and fishing gear were recovered as well. Now, Joshua Zick has since bonded out of the county jail here in Okaloosa, but Brandon is still behind bars this evening. Both of those men are facing armed burglary, grand theft, criminal mischief charges, as well as 53 counts each of stealing firearms. Reporting live in Okaloosa County, I'm Haley Minogue, News 5.
Thanks, Haley. All eyes will be on the nation's capital tomorrow when Donald Trump takes the oath of office and becomes the 45th president of the United States.
Washington is getting ready. News 5's national correspondent Jim Osman reports on the progress.
President Obama is in the last hours of his presidency and will hand over the White House to a man he believes is not qualified for the position. But it's not his moment now. Donald Trump stunned the world on November 8th, winning a victory in a narrow path through Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, besting Hillary Clinton, who was the overwhelming favorite. And despite President Obama's current impressive approval number, Trump won on an anti-Obama and anti-establishment agenda and his Make America Great Again slogan. Hundreds of thousands of people are expected in D.C. The head of the Young Republicans in San Francisco is already here.
Being a Republican in California is tough. Being a Republican in San Francisco is almost impossible. I say it's like being behind enemy lines. It's a very hostile environment.
Hillary Hagenbuck is a committed Trump devotee who is here to make her voice heard, not at the liberal-leaning Saturday Women's March, but at Trump's inauguration.
I'm mostly just filled with excitement and joy that we've got a Republican administration coming in, and I'm excited to hear what he says and what he's going to lay out for his administration for his first 100 days, and just feel the excitement and the surge of hope that goes through the crowd.
Protesters are expected for Trump's inauguration day, which Trump may not hear much of in the new bubble he will exist in. The sounds he hears may be when he and his wife Melania take their first dance together as President and First Lady. President-elect Trump will take the oath of office on a Lincoln Bible and a Bible from his childhood. He'll be sworn in by the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, John Roberts. I'm Chief National Correspondent Jim Osman reporting at the Capitol.
Local Representative Bradley Burns says his office has handled tickets for as many as 200 people from Lower Alabama who will attend the inauguration. Burns is downplaying the significance of some of his congressional colleagues boycotting the event.
I think they're shortchanging themselves. I think they're shortchanging their colleagues. Some of them had some pre-existing schedule problems why they can't come. But those that think that they're making a protest, they're really not accomplishing anything in my judgment.
And among those boycotting, John Lewis, the civil rights leader and Democratic congressman from Georgia. He's been engaged in a Twitter feud with Donald Trump in the past few days after he said he believed Trump's election was illegitimate. Alabama's lone Democrat in the congressional delegation, Terry Sewell, says she will not attend the inauguration to support Lewis.
The Republican National Committee has selected a new party leader, and this time it's a woman. Little-known Michigan Republican Ronna Romney McDaniel was elected to serve as the RNC chairman today. She is the niece of former GOP presidential candidate Mitt Romney. McDaniel helped Trump win the presidency by running his winning campaign in Michigan, a state usually won by Democrats.
Coming up after the break, dozens of people trapped inside a destroyed hotel after an avalanche.
Plus, a building collapses in Tehran, trapping dozens of firefighters inside.
It's Apples for the Students time only at Greer's. Shop, save, and support your local schools.
Everybody's mornings are different. But we all need to know one thing. What's going on in our community?
As you're waking up this morning, we have new information from overnight.
Watch News 5 this morning starting at 4:30. Get top stories from
New
overnight.
information you need to know as you head out to work this morning.
Weather to plan your day.
It's a great day to be outside.
Checking out the Bayway for you.
And traffic to see if you need to take the long way. Because no matter what your day looks like, mornings matter.
When I take on the insurance company, I ain't settling for no small dough. I'm hunting for the big bucks. I'm Mike Slocum, the Alabama Hammer. You've been hurt in a car wreck. Let me hunt down the big bucks for you. Call me right now.
The IRS announced delayed refunds till February. So how can you get up to $1,300 today? At Jackson Hewitt, you can get an express refund advance, a 0% APR loan. Can't get that online. Visit Jackson Hewitt and you can get up to $1,300 today.
After taking care of everybody else, sometimes I need to get away. Here at Wind Creek Atmore, they know what I like. A little rest and relaxation. It adds excitement to my life. And going home a winner sure doesn't hurt. Find your winning moment.
Wind Creek Atmore is turning 8, so we're giving away $100,000. Join us every Friday in January for your chance to win up to $10,000 cash. Come join the fun.
Now is the time to buy at Eastern Shore Toyota. Drive new Corollas or Camrys with 0% financing, backed by our nationwide lifetime warranty. Rush to Eastern Shore Toyota.
Which is the best way to get your taxes done? A Jackson Hewitt Tax Pro knows you and gets you the maximum refund guaranteed. Does the computer? And what does it do if you make a mistake? Or the IRS sends you a letter? Forget the computer. Go with a Jackson Hewitt Tax Pro.
When I take on the insurance company, I ain't settling for no small dough. I'm hunting for the big bucks. I'm Mike Slocum, the Alabama Hammer. You've been hurt in a car wreck. Let me hunt down the big bucks for you. Call me right now.
Breaking news tonight at 5 o'clock. Mobile police have discovered some human remains near a hospital and shopping center. Here's a live look at the scene. It's on a road that's in between Dauphin Street and Airport Boulevard behind Spring Hill Medical Center. You can see it appears that crews were clearing some land when they found something. This area has been known from time to time to be frequented by homeless people. We'll continue to follow this story for you tonight on News 5.
And now for a look at what's making news outside the Gulf Coast. In central Italy, an avalanche triggered by a series of earthquakes buried a hotel. Rescue crews spent the day frantically searching for survivors. As many as 20 guests and staff may still be inside. One body has already been recovered. Because the hotel is located in such a remote area, rescue crews had to ski several miles just to reach the site. And it took hours before a helicopter could reach the scene. Rescuers on the ground are having trouble because of the tremendous amount of snow that pushed inside the hotel.
In Iran, the mayor of Tehran says at least 20 firefighters have been killed in a building collapse today. The high-rise came down as crews were battling the fire. Firefighters were buried under the rubble. Close to 70 people were injured in the collapse, and many are still trapped underneath the debris.
Well, tomorrow, Donald Trump will take the oath of office and become the president of the United States.
And after the break, we'll talk to radio host Sean Sullivan about what he expects to hear from Mr.
The rain is starting in Mobile in the malls area. Gray skies with thunderstorms right behind the rain. I'll detail all this coming up in your forecast.
How can Sub King offer a 7-inch combo for $6.99? We're not a franchise. Sub King, 8 Mile, Crichton, and Government Boulevard near the bus station. So be wise, don't eat franchise.
Now, create your ideal new bedroom without compromise. Starting at an incredible low $6.99. Explore your options. Embrace all 60 possibilities a Rooms to Go Belcourt bedroom package can offer. This is your new bedroom, your way. Thanks to a choice of 5 great headboards, 3 gorgeous finishes, plus 2 dresser styles you can customize with 2 unique sets of interchangeable hardware. Starting at an amazing low $6.99 and delivered in days. Only at Rooms to Go.
An SUV redefined. 3 distinct driving modes. Available right now. This is the 2017 Acura MDX, and this is how we make it.
Visit Joe Bullard Acura for attractive offers on the MDX.
Don't be without the WKRG News 5 app. Get news, traffic, and weather on your tablet or smartphone. Just go to the App Store or Google Play and type in WKRG.
Whether you've been hurt by a dump truck or any kind of commercial vehicle, you could have a big case worth big money. I'm attorney Andy Citron, and I win or you don't owe me a dime. Call me. It's just that easy.
Andy wins. Amazing things can happen during the playoffs. See, we told you so. Get 2 large 2-topping Papa John's pizzas for $8 each. And try our new stuffed cheese sticks for just $5 each.
Papa John's, the official pizza sponsor of Super Bowl 51.
Well, welcome back. Of course, tomorrow, the big inauguration of Donald Trump.
Here to talk about that is Sean Sullivan of FM Talk 106.5. Sean, nothing about Donald Trump or his campaign or his time as president-elect has been normal in the political sense. So tomorrow, are we going to see a standard inauguration speech, or do you think we might see more of an off-the-cuff, hold-nothing-back style that we've seen so far from Donald Trump?
Well, if it's off the cuff and just off the top of his head, they'll make some people mad, as there's been a lot of people working, one specifically working on his speech. Now, is that the message of Donald Trump? Sure. But it has been crafted. There is a plan. What that sounds like, well, we'll have to wait and see. I think a lot of people would hope that it would be more a speech about bringing the country together, more about the direction of the country going forward, and maybe not even getting in specifics, just a overall look forward to the next 4 years.
Well, Sean, there's been a lot of conversation about the stars, or really the non-stars that will be performing.
Non-stars?
Non-stars that will be performing at the inauguration event. A lot of big stars, you could say, declined invitations to perform. So I'm curious, what do your listeners think about that?
We talked about a little bit with why some people aren't performing. And there's a mix. There's absolutely plenty of people in Hollywood or people out of the recording business said no way. There are also people that said yes or were considering it and got big blowback out there from groups out there that would have nothing of it. And so the artists were interested in performing, but the pushback from small groups out there got them to not do it. But that's no problem. Sam and Dave, he'll be there. So that's good. Of course, Lee Greenwood will be there, and Toby Keith. I think that concert's cranked up right now, that first concert. Then, of course, we have the music tomorrow and the parade.
Yeah, and our local guys 3 Doors Down played this afternoon.
Yes.
Sean, while we've been getting ready for the inauguration, we've had more confirmation hearings going on. Many of Trump's cabinet picks come with certain baggage and have had criticism and tough questions even from Republicans. But in the end, do you expect any Republican opposition votes for any of these nominees?
Would I get Republicans voting against the nominees? Most likely not. And those that will act like they're going to oppose or push back a little bit are probably doing something in a play maybe for what happens here in 3 years or 2.5 years when the next primary, folks that like to get in the mix might start. But no, I don't think we have an issue. I do think some have a bumpier road than others, but I feel like all will be confirmed.
Well, turning back to the inauguration, Sean, what do your listeners think about some of the members of Congress who will not be attending tomorrow?
It's been the majority of folks that have called in about whether it's Representative Lewis or 52 others that won't be there. It's been very negative. It's been very negative. And it's been a discussion about not being there to support Donald Trump, but be there in honor of the office of the presidency. Now, it is not unprecedented. There has been inaugurations that have had people stand out. Representative Lewis has done it in the past as well. But it is more of, I think, an insult to the office of the presidency than to the individual taking that office.
Sean Sullivan, thanks so much for stopping by again today.
Hey, thank you.
Now, Alan Seals with First Alert Weather.
For many of us, the rain is just beginning already into Washington County, Mobile County, all of it moving eastward. And as you look at the radar, notice a couple of things. No watches, no warnings, no advisories, but certainly rain. Right now, right along Highway 43 from Thomasville to Grove Hill to Jackson, you're on the leading edge of the next downpour. And if you're in Washington County, it's been pretty steady for the last 10 to 15 minutes. That rain is crossing the Tombigbee River. It's on the way to Rockville in just a couple of minutes, Stockton in about 5 minutes, and then Alma and Chrysler in about the next 12 to 14 minutes. Again, ordinary downpours, lightning, you'll get some gusty wind. Same thing throughout Mobile County. Now keep in mind, lots of folks are on the roadways, so if nothing else, wet roads, be careful out there. Hurricane, the community of Hurricane, 6 minutes. Stockton in about 10 minutes, and then 18 minutes for Bay Minette. Now that's going to work its way all the way into the Florida Panhandle in the next couple of hours. In downtown Mobile, Midtown, there's your rain, light to moderate all along Government Boulevard toward downtown on Royal Street. The scenario for us is, even though right now everything is pretty calm, relatively speaking, we do have a slight risk for severe weather, meaning be aware for the next couple of hours. We could see a thunderstorm produce wind gusts over 60, 70 miles an hour, a really tiny chance for an isolated tornado. All of that means have a plan. Now here's a projection, 5:15 this evening. The brightest colors would represent where the thunderstorms will likely be. By about 7:15, things will quiet across Mississippi and Mobile and Washington counties, but along I-65, you'll be looking at those thunderstorms stretching southward into the Florida Panhandle. They will steadily move eastward by about 9:15, clearing out of southwestern Alabama, but then moving through the Florida Panhandle. And even at that point, a small chance of seeing something spin up quickly, briefly, but not something that will be huge. 11 o'clock this evening, most of us will be on the tail end of the system, and then by the middle of the night, we are back to fog and mist. So this is going to be sort of our first round of active weather. Our Alpha Skycam looks to the west across the Malls area. Dark clouds, but nothing too far out of the ordinary. Still at 71 degrees here at News 5 with a light south wind. Cruise line still in port. You don't want to head down the river when you've got a line of thunderstorms coming in. They'll likely head out of here in a couple of hours. Now, once we're past this evening's semi-active weather, tomorrow, calm. We'll get a shower, but then Saturday and Sunday, we could look at a couple more rounds of active weather. There's tomorrow's projection, 3 in the afternoon, cloudy, a few showers, no big deal. But then after we hit midnight going into Saturday, especially towards Saturday morning, we'll get another band of thunderstorms moving through. So that could produce severe weather. Same thing, a smaller chance Saturday evening, and then on Sunday morning, another chance. So all these possibilities of active weather. Here's the rest of the forecast, though. Temperatures still stay mild for 2 more days. Saturday and Sunday will be the wetter days with another several inches of rain before we calm down and cool out early next week.
All right, thanks a lot, Alan. The U.S. Navy and local shipbuilder Austal are hoping for good things from the incoming administration and Congress. Last month, the Navy put out its wish list called the Force Structure Assessment. In it, the Navy says it wants more ships, including the full order of littoral combat ships made by Austal here in Mobile. Outgoing Defense Secretary Ash Carter had called on the Navy to cut the order amid criticism of the ship's capabilities and cost. Lower Alabama Congressman Bradley Burns says the Navy definitely wants the ships. Austal is Mobile's largest industrial employer with some 4,000 workers.
Coming up after the break, antiques, paintings, artifacts, all up for sale in a New York City auction. The twist? They're from right here in Mobile.
At Palmer's Hyundai, we work hard to get the car you want at the price you want.
Lease a 2017 Hyundai Elantra for $159 a month. Lease a 2017 Santa Fe Sport for $299 a month.
Hurry and get the car you want today at Palmer's Hyundai.
I was out of the school scene for many years while serving in the U.S. Navy. When I decided to get my degree, I chose Faulkner University.
Faulkner University offers over 90 relevant degree options.
Being a military-friendly school, Faulkner allows me to earn my degree at a very low cost.
As a military-friendly school, active duty and qualified dependents may receive substantial tuition assistance.
Faulkner University is helping me reach my goals.
Learn more at faulkner.edu.
Dauphin Way Assisted Living is a beautiful modern facility offering independent and assisted living at its finest. Located in the heart of Midtown, close to medical services and shopping, we offer oversized units with private bathrooms, large closets, and beautifully landscaped grounds. We also offer free local move-in for new residents. Call to schedule your visit and complimentary lunch. Dauphin Way Assisted Living. Quality care at one low price. 3085 Dauphin Square Connector, behind McConnell Automotive, or visit DauphinWayALF.com.
Many types of accidents can cause a traumatic brain injury, but only an experienced lawyer can properly evaluate the true settlement value of these complicated cases. At Long & Long, we know how to put all the pieces back together. If your loved one suffers a head injury in any type of accident that was not your fault, don't wait long. Call Long & Long at 432-HURT.
When hurt in a car accident that wasn't your fault, don't wait long. Call Long & Long Local Injury Lawyers at 432-HURT.
Golden Corral's ultimate 7-day brunch. Every day at 9:30 a.m. Enjoy new brunch favorites like strawberry cheesecake French toast, sausage gravy and biscuits, made-to-order omelets, carved ham, bacon, and all your lunch favorites. Your day just got a whole lot tastier. Only at Golden Corral.
Start your New Year's off the right way with a great deal at Palmer's Hyundai.
Lease a 2017 Hyundai Tucson for $249 a month. Lease a 2017 Hyundai Sonata for $199 a month.
Hurry and get the car you want today at Palmer's Hyundai.
An annual Pap test could save your life. A message from Southern Cancer Center.
Well, welcome back. One Mobile family's extensive collection of artifacts, paintings, and antique furniture took center stage at Christie's Auction House in New York City today. The collection, which belongs to the Altmayer family, used to adorn the halls of their estate in Spring Hill. If you're not looking for the antebellum-style home off of McGregor Avenue, you might never notice it behind a line of oak trees. Tonight at 6, we'll give you a rare tour inside the home and tell you about some of the artifacts that sold for thousands, some for more than $1 million a piece. As for the profits,
what I plan to do is distribute the money to local charities. So the money will still stay here in Mobile and be used for good works here in Mobile.
Jay Altmayer Jr., who owns the house now after his parents passed away, says donating the profits to make Mobile a better place is something they would have wanted. We'll have more tonight at 6 o'clock.
Very exciting, and an exciting surprise today for two Mobile County science teachers. They were selected as the school system's 2016 Teachers of the Year. Both were unaware of the honor until this morning when they were surprised in front of their students. Tammy May teaches at Sims Middle School, and Chastity Collier at Dawes Intermediate School. The two will be nominated for statewide Teacher of the Year award honors. Congratulations to those two.
Yes, very well deserved. All right, we are watching this line of storms.
Yeah.
I'm hearing the rain coming down here at the station.
We've got rain, but not a lot of thunder, and that's a good thing. So don't be overly concerned, other than definitely wet streets, a slow rush hour, a slow commute. But yes, there will be thunder, there will be lightning, and there's a 90% likelihood that you need your umbrella this evening. Temperatures just move down slowly, and the rain pretty much by midnight on the way out, and then a calm start to tomorrow.
All right, thanks, Alan. Thank you for watching, everyone. The CBS Evening News is next.
Mel and Roseanne will see you tonight at 6.